Let's see how to move data into DataDesk. Most people keep data in a spreadsheet. Here we have some data in Excel. It's data about countries of the world, including life expectancy, literacy, urbanization, infant mortality rate, and so on. Now, before we move the data, we need to check on a couple of things. First, we can't have extra symbols like percentage signs or money signs. And second, we can't have commas because those will make the number appear to be a text value. So the first thing we do is select all the numeric columns and format them, format the cells, to be simple numbers. Secondly, we want to be certain that the first row of our spreadsheet holds the names of the columns that we want to use. That's the ordinary way to organize a data table, with the names of the variables at the top and the data running down the columns. But here, for example, our name for infant mortality rate includes the units. It's going to make a very long name, so why don't we edit that down to just infant mortality rate so we have a more reasonable variable name. Once we've done that, all we have to do is to select the data. We can just select the columns like that, copy them from the spreadsheet, and go over to DataDesk. Here we are in DataDesk in a nice, banking, clean desktop. We don't have to create a spreadsheet. We don't have to create variables. As long as there are variables on the clipboard, DataDesk will offer to paste the variables. So we do that. It shows us the first row of the data and says, are those the variable names? And yes, they are, so we'll say use these variable names. Other options will allow you to adjust the delimiters. We're using the default delimiter from Excel, which is the tab character, or to define other variable names and things like that. But we'll just do that. And here are the data as they appear in DataDesk. Now in DataDesk, each variable is simply an icon. We open it up and you can see that, for example, the names of the countries are in that variable, the life expectancies are in that variable, and so on. Notice that it didn't matter whether we had numbers or missing values. In this case, NA stands for not available. DataDesk is perfectly comfortable taking both numbers and text and dealing with the not available numbers as missing values correctly. Now, what do we do with data now that it's there? The first thing we probably want to do is just look at it. So we could grab some of these variables here and make histograms. And there they are. Now, how do these variables relate to each other? Well, we can take a tool like this, select those countries that have low life expectancy, and notice that in countries with low life expectancy, we have a relatively high infant mortality rate and a relatively low literacy rate. They also tend to be less urban than other countries. Conversely, if we look at countries with a high literacy rate, we can see that life expectancies are almost uniformly high, and infant mortality rates are almost uniformly low. Seeing how variables work together this way is one of the great strengths of DataDesk.